We've got it. Final confirmation from Red Bull that Adrian Newey is leaving the team in the first quarter of 2025. Now that means he will not have a gardening leave. He's going to leave working on F1 immediately. He's going to be working on the RB7 Hyper car, which is a project he's been going on for quite some time, and he'll run that all the way up until the first quarter of 2025. Well, he'll be free to leave the team and go straight in and work on the 2026 project for his next racing team. Now, that's the big question. Where does he end up? Let's go through why he's left. I mean, it's a massive shock, to be honest with you. He's probably the greatest car designer in Formula 1 history. He's designed 12 Constructors' Championship winners cars. He's got 25 championships overall, 13 for the drivers. He's worked with Williams, won championships there, McLaren, won championships there, and Red Bull since 2006, 13 out of 20 he's won there. Absolutely magnificent, this guy. The rumour has been circulating for quite a few weeks now, hasn't it, of where he's going to go, where's he going to see. You'll see my video of back in April, mid-April, discussing the rumours. You know, he was seen in Italy at the airport there near the Ferrari headquarters. So is that where his next destination is? We'll soon find out. Now, the news initially broke through Amos, the Auto, Motor und Sport German reporters. So the guy who's reporting there has done a tremendous job. He's the one that leaked Lewis Hamilton's move to Ferrari. He was first to call this one as well. So hats off to that guy, because he's doing a tremendous job there. But yeah, it's now confirmed. Where will he go next and why? Well, the big rumours of why he's leaving Red Bull is because purely, I think there's been a number of issues. They've said that Adrian Newey's work on the Formula 1 car has sort of been slowly weaned off. Red Bull have not really given him the credit for the absolutely tremendous, most winning car ever in Formula 1 history, which was absolutely dominant last year, and this year it looks no different, does it? And there's the big issue of the power struggle and the Christian Horner debacle, which has been ongoing now. The big one here really is the lady in the centre of this whole allegation of Christian Horner is actually Adrian Newey's PA. So he's directly involved, and I think that's made it really difficult with him. And if you need to know anything about Adrian Newey, you've got to go check this book out about him. How to Build a Car is a fantastic book about him, how he goes about designing and building cars. And it's not just about that, it gives through his thought processes, how his life works. And you can tell he's not the kind of guy that will put up with any of the BS that's gone on around this. And so I think he's had enough. But for that, I think he probably would have remained at Red Bull. It wasn't very long ago where he said Red Bull is his family. He feels massively at home there. So I don't expect him to have left, but for this whole fury that's left. And Jos Verstappen's famous words of saying, Christian Horner stays, he's going to destroy this team. Well, one of the big guns has gone now, isn't he? Adrian left, or leaving effectively. He's completely off the F1 stuff now. So, yeah, will Red Bull really come to rue this decision? They, held on to him a number of times. Ferrari, other big clubs and teams, drivers just circling and waiting for this guy. He's the absolute goatiest goat of car designers. In football terms, he's the Sir Alex Ferguson and Pep Guardiola of designing cars. He's just, he's got a mind of his own. He's absolutely fantastic. But where next? That's the big one, isn't it? And I was watching the podcast of Peter Windsor, who actually says Aston Martin made an astronomical offer for this guy, and he rejected it. So I thought, honestly, it might be the perfect place for him. He gets to work with Fernando Alonso, a driver he's outspokenly said he wants to work with. Again, it's close to his home address. It's local, UK-based team. Now, he was reluctant to go out of the UK previously, wasn't he? When Ferrari came courting, saying he needs to be home. And there was a lot of personal and family issues behind that, and we go through that in that book that I've mentioned earlier. So Aston Martin looked for me like the perfect place for him to go. A new big project. They're investing a lot of money in there. Lance Stroll, aren't they? Lawrence Stroll with the big factory and, you know, the whole project around that Aston Martin outfit. So it looked like the perfect place for him to go. But according to Peter, he said no there. So yeah, if they come back with a different offer or a different proposal, who knows? The big one really is Ferrari. They've come after him 2 or 3 times now. So is this finally the moment he gets up and leaves? He's previously rejected him on previous, you know, issues. He first was going to move when Red Bull signed him in 2006 to Ferrari, but decided against that and went for the Red Bull project. And then when he came to renew it a few years back, he was reportedly a 20 million offer on the table for Adrian at that time. Again, Christian Horner managed to persuade him to stay at Red Bull, and it was a big coup for Red Bull at that time. But the big reason why Adrian said he didn't move to Ferrari was when he got first married, he moved over to the States. His wife moved over to California, didn't like it there, and that led to her coming back, and that separation sort of led to their divorce. Now the second time when Ferrari came calling for him to move over to Italy, again, this was sort of at the forefront of his mind. Will a move to Italy, young kids, a new family, will this be the right call again to go? And again, he decided against it on that basis. Now this time round, his third wife has already liked tweets about potentially moving to Ferrari and moving into Italy, so it looks like all is set and happy hunky-dory at home for him to do that now. And this is his last big chance, let's be honest. He's 65 years old now. I think there are talks of retirement, but I don't think he would have left Red Bull but for this whole Christian Horner scenario. So I don't think he's ready to hang up his boots yet. I think he's ready to go on and see another challenge. And where that will be, for me personally, I think it's Ferrari. It's no coincidence, just a week ago he was out in Italy, wasn't he? Not far from the home of the Ferrari Tifosi fans. You know, was a big offer deal made, and then we've since had that the big rumour mill has really picked up and spread and said, look, Adrian's resigning. It's now officially confirmed. And so is it the big move, and it'll be absolute tremendous because he gets one to work with Lewis Hamilton, who he's said he'd love to work with. He finally gets to work with Ferrari, a team again he said he'd love to work with, and now finally is it all coming together, and it'll be an absolutely magnificent story, isn't it? He finally gets his work with Ferrari, and can he go there and help Lewis Hamilton to the 8th Drivers' World title there, an honour no other has had. It'll be absolutely fantastic, that whole storyline. So is the lure of that and the magic of Ferrari, you know, finally enough now to make that come to an end? I can't see him going anywhere else but Ferrari in my mind at the moment, but there are other options as well, aren't there? He could also go to Audi now. I'm sure they'll be in the mix. A big German automotive sport coming. They've got a massive history in motorsports, and they'd love to come in and be on the right foot. And in 2026, with the big regulations, they could come in with Adrian and make waves, and that would be absolutely massive. But the reason I think he wouldn't do that is because he's kind of done that with a new team making it big, isn't it, with Red Bull? So he's kind of ticked that box in that scenario. But could Audi offer him something slightly different? And it is a unique opportunity because it's a completely new team effectively coming in and doing that. And there is also the option of Mercedes, who I'm sure will be buzzing about and hoping that they can get Adrian in, because they've had a nightmare last 3 years trying to get on top of this set of regulations with the way the car works, and Adrian will be the man to come in and fix that immediately, wouldn't he? So I'm sure they'll be hungry to get him in there, and that, along with potentially getting Adrian, could that lure along Max Verstappen, who we know they are touting and hoping you know, they can nick a brick from the Red Bull building, or the core building. Now Adrian's gone, could that mean Max Verstappen's going also? And so I think Mercedes could be another option. And there's some serious, you know, I'm not sure there's not a single team on the grid that will be happy to have him, but it really looks like it's only the big front sort of 2 or 3 teams that'll be the ones that will really be able to bring him back home. And bring the lure and the excitement that he probably needs to make this work. He's already worked at McLaren, so I don't see him going back there. He's already done it at Williams, and do they have the budget for him? I'm not so sure. I think it's probably a bit too fresh and early for Adrian to want to go back down the field that much. Haas, we know they don't build their cars, so I don't see that happening there. Alpine could be a potential. They've got the Renault backing and they've been all over the place, so could he be the one to go and help them and sort things out there? That's also a potential, but I really think this time round it's going to be Ferrari. I mean, he's absolutely donned it if he goes and does that. I think it'd be a tremendous story. Who knows? But that's the options. Yeah. And well, it's finally confirmed the goatiest of the goats is leaving the Red Bull team. But where next? I'm sure we'll find out soon. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe and comment as always. See you next time.